Welcome to the Roundtable. I am Jennifer Eller, and with me today is my co-host, Mike Hill, our producer, Nick Wilson. Just never know what you're going to get.
No, it's got to be a little bit different every time.
There you go.
Like, change it up.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
what's up, Nick? We have to stop meeting
No,
like
I know,
this.
but the thing is,
Which
Nick is supposed
camera?
to have a camera, but he gyps out on it.
Do we?
My camera to Jennifer.
Do we?
He's got a camera.
There's no camera. You just look here.
Like
'cause
there's multiples.
Listen, do you
look at
know
Mike.
Nick?
I barely.
Huh?
I hug him and I love on him, but I don't know that he likes it.
No, I'm not the point. The point is, like, do you know his expertise when it comes to these things? Because he's got all these cameras, and so you're looking around, and he's back there manipulating all this stuff so that he can make you look good.
With all this stuff, you would think he knows what he's doing.
Didn't you notice when he put your makeup on before you came in?
Yeah, and he like shoved this right up. It's kind of weird.
Sorry, Jennifer. I already got off track.
it's all good. That's just how this one's going to be, because we've got Todd Little with us today. Yay!
Todd's already got goosebumps.
This will be a good one, everybody. So, okay, Todd.
Hopefully.
It will be good. So, if you could go back in time or forward in time, where would you go?
I definitely would not go back in time and see Elvis Presley.
You would?
I would not.
Would not.
My son's crazy, but he's.
Oh, yeah, because I think Thadius said that.
Oh, that's what Thadius said?
Well, yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
knew he
he's
said
a
that as kids.
Elvis freak. He named his daughter after Elvis, so that tells you how much he.
Oh.
But
Well, you know why he likes Elvis Presley, right? Because of you. Did you listen to Elvis all the time?
I'm all sugar.
That's my point. You think he just randomly...
Did that sound like Elvis?
I've never heard one Elvis song in my entire life.
I sound just like Elvis when I'm in the shower.
Okay, do a little impression.
I love you, man.
I have not heard an Elvis Presley
Yes, you
song.
have.
Okay, give me one. Sing one to me.
I have to have music, but
My favorite one is I'm caught in a trap, can't walk out
Keep going.
because I love you too much, baby.
Nope.
there's one called Blue Suede Shoes.
Oh Lord, where have you been?
Not listening to music most of my
Evidently,
life.
yeah.
Okay, so you would not go back and see Elvis Presley. What would you
not.
do?
I would probably go down the path like Thadius mentioned and go back to Jesus' days and sit and eat some olives and some fish and talk
That's why you would go back? 'Cause you
talk
wanna
with
eat-
the disciples
Okay.
and going forward, I don't necessarily think I'd want to do that.
You don't want to go forward?
No, why? I like me personally. I would rather walk the path that I'm on and be excited and expectant of what the Lord does with me and for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you read any books?
I do read this book. If you can see it, Nick, can you zoom in?
We can see it.
Zoom in. How can you miss it? I guess it must
Is
be
this
the
like
extra
large,
big version.
Yeah, large print.
No, that's why the glasses are sitting on top, Jennifer.
It's larger print than my Bible, so
Okay,
I'm gonna
yeah.
say that's large print.
I don't read much of anything. Thus, not getting too much involved in the Zoom things with the book club you guys had. So,
What?
it's a long story. We don't have time.
No, we do.
Not that big a deal.
What's the Zoom book club? I wasn't in a book club, and I love books.
The prayer team this summer, we
Yeah?
read a book on prayer, and
Okay.
so
What was
it's-
the book?
it was on prayer. I don't remember.
It was
Yeah.
impactful.
Yeah.
No,
Tell
it
ya.
really was good. It
Okay.
was good. We had a really great conversation. So we did on Monday nights, and I just thought, let's just Zoom for an hour.
Zoom?
I just kind of
so-
sat and
So
showed them pictures of my flowers and
Yeah, he literally
and the
did.
tree lines and the sky. And
You didn't join very often, but he was on there. He didn't
And it
know.
was to talk about the book?
Yeah, so we read like 20 pages or something like that. So Rob Hollinger kind of led that for us.
Yeah.
He wanted to do a book, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So
And you just rebelled against it and didn't want to do
absolutely.
it?
I
Okay.
brought back my rebellious years.
Got it. Way to be a part of the team, Todd. Like, everybody wants to read a book except for you.
That's right.
Yep. So what was your life like before you found Jesus? So what were those rebellious years like?
Thadius always mentioned, I don't know why his name keeps coming up. He always mentions the fast train, and mine was a fast train straight to the pits of hell is what it was. It was not good. I mean, most people know my story of drugs, alcohol, womanizing, stealing, cheating, lying, all those things combined into, that's what it was. I didn't grow up in a church. No one really ever took me and my brothers to church. So God was not in the story up until, I always referred to around when Thadius was 3 years old is when I first thought I got saved. I didn't feel like I was.
Why then? What happened? I don't know if I've ever heard you say this.
A friend of mine started a church, Ernie, Jim Willauer, good friend, and so that's where it started for me. Ernie had gotten saved before that, and in his early days, he would try to cram it down your throat, and it didn't work for me. I was happy where I was at.
Because at this point, you're back in Huntington.
Yeah.
Because you were gone for a while.
Yeah, that didn't happen until, after school days.
Huh?
After high school days.
No, right. But I mean, when Thadius was 3, how old were you?
I was in my 20s, early 20s.
Right. But wasn't there a time you were gone? You were gone in Tennessee
for a
while.
But that's before I had Thadius.
Right. So you're gone in Tennessee for a while, running from the law. You're back into Huntington.
Yeah.
Married.
Yeah, I was married to my oldest son's mother.
Right.
And that didn't work out, so I came back, turned myself in, spent a little bit of time in jail, and they let me out. I don't know why.
Right.
I credit it to the Lord, because he always has a plan for us no matter where we're at in life.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so then you get remarried again. And
Yeah.
Right. And then you have.
Like shortly after I came back to town.
Okay. Yeah. And so at that point, though, still no, I guess that's what I wanted to get up to. Still at that point, no reference to not in church, not thought about.
Nope.
The guy plants a church. Ernie comes and's like, I'm gonna save all my brothers.
I start going there, and it's kind of a funny story because I was at the altar every Sunday for months on end getting saved. Every weekend,
right?
Sunday I'd get saved. Until finally the pastor was like, pulled me to the side, like, Todd, you're good, you're saved. You don't have to keep coming up to the altar and getting saved. So, but again, like my last podcast, I was doing it all wrong.
Well, but why were you going to the altar every Sunday? What gave you the sense that you need to do that?
Because I was still living the old,
right,
still smoking pot and drinking and doing drugs and
so you were looking more like for forgiveness. Is that what you were searching for?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why I didn't feel like I was saved, even though me and my brother Scott were going into the jail and ministering, and we were going to nursing homes and spending time with the elderly and I, doing Bible study, and and all of those things. I was the projector guy, because back then you put a sheet on a projector and it
an overhead
shows the worship music. And I mean, even though I was doing all those things, I just didn't feel like I was forgiven.
Right. And why were you doing them? Because Ernie wanted you to? Because you truly were trying to get it figured out?
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I want, like, I don't even want to go there because, like, someone will get mad. But, I mean, it's truly part of my story. Like, I was searching for a restored marriage.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I thought God would give me.
Right. Yeah. So it was a combination of trying to figure out how to fix your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fix your marriage.
The whole shebang. Like, you know, God's this powerful entity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't I feel like why don't I feel like my salvation's real? Why isn't he restoring what I thought he would at the time? So that's the reasons.
Yeah. And so how long did it go on, though? Like, I mean, I don't know if we even got that far the last time we ever talked. Like, for how long did it go on where you're like, it's trying and you're getting saved, but you don't have to go to the altar every Sunday, but you're still going to church? Was there a falling out then? Or not a falling out, but just like a...
Yeah, I'm not so sure about when the church dissipated because of whatever reason. I mean, a lot of people blame the pastor, but you know, it may have been his fault. It may have been some, you know, a combination of things. So I wasn't even, I didn't even want to be involved in that. Know why, whatever. So I kind of slipped away into the background before that even happened. And I don't even know why, you know, to this day, I can't figure it out.
Other than it just wasn't working.
Yeah, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Nothing,
what I thought it would be
right.
at the time. So I just walked away, turned my back.
Right. And just went back to the same lifestyle, but just maybe not
that
as bad.
lifestyle really never left.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So in that process of getting saved or going to the altar, it was a salvation without life change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's maybe where you wanted to get, right? So fast forward to how you ended up getting to the place where you needed to. Is that what you wanted?
No, I was just trying to figure out why you kept going to the altar. I'm like, what were you searching for?
Like,
you know?
And honestly, it was because I wasn't hearing from God. Either I wasn't listening. I know that he talks to his children, but I evidently was doing it wrong. Like I don't even know how I was praying, if I was even praying, like I do now. There's definitely a big difference, a big change in the way I approach things now.
Right. Yeah, so were there, because when Ernie came to the church early on,
Yeah.
you know, and then.
With other members of the family.
I mean, he was here by himself for a while.
Right.
You know, and then Scott came but anyway, so then Ernie kind of came and go, but I was with Scott a lot, you know, because he worked for me. And then, this is what I always tell Thadius. It's funny because you and Thadius were in our Friday morning breakfast conversations all the time.
Yeah.
You know, where Scott was like,
That's what made me cry on the last podcast.
you know, because you get to the, I mean, again, when Scott and I would go,
Thank
we'd
you,
meet
Lord.
at that.
I feel a little stronger this time around.
No, I mean, we just used to sit at the family diner because he worked in my farm in Ossian,
Right.
and we would meet every Friday.
Been there many times.
Yeah, sometimes it was about
I actually
work.
did a little work for you out there.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, because Isaac worked there first.
Right.
You know, Isaac worked there until, I always tell the funny story is Isaac signed up for the Marine Corps and then thought he didn't have to go. You remember that story? Do you remember that? Because he was living out there and he called me one night. He's like, hey, the Marine Corps guy called me and said, like, if I don't show up, because he had just thought, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
There ain't no change in
Yeah,
your
you
mind.
can't do that.
No, there ain't no change in your mind. And then that's when Scott ended up. But anyway, I mean, that's what I remember. Hey, you need to pray for my brother. You need to pray for his son, because it's like they're not good for each other. I mean, that's some of what Scott used to say. You know, I don't know if that's true, not true.
Absolutely true.
You know.
Like, absolutely true.
Yeah, because he kind of felt like it was a kind of a family thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Because at that time, was Junior up here, not up here? When did he come up?
I don't even know. His mom was having some issues with substance abuse, and so I had brought him up here for the summer to do some work with me, because I was doing a lot of work over in the hotel. They were building a hotel in Logansport, and I brought him up to do a bunch of work with me and to kind of get him out of that situation. And like, he never went back. So he's been up here.
Because you guys had all worked together. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
Thadius,
me,
Junior.
Thadius, and
Right.
Gunner, my little brother Sean's boy,
Right,
worked together for quite a while
right.
until life happens.
So what kind of life happened?
Personal stuff that needs surgery and things like that, which I'm still trying to figure out why none of that ever happened until I came back to serve the Lord. It's like I still wonder why, why didn't it happen 3 years ago instead of after? So I don't know if it's just to make me stronger. That's what everybody says. Oh, it's to make you stronger. I feel strong enough.
Well, no, I mean, but so maybe get people updated that don't know your story. So Thaddeus gets baptized. You come to watch.
Yeah.
And that's somewhat of a...
And that's...
starts this journey for you.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. The only way I can explain it is that when we came for Thaddeus's baptism, most all the family was here, including his mom. Something, well, we know who got a hold of her too, but I define it as the Holy Ghost slapping me upside the back of the head, and like, where have you been? What have you been doing? I got things for you to do, places to go, people to see, and it's been quite the journey since that moment.
Yeah. So before that, though, I think this is so was there any inkling before Thaddeus gets baptized of like, I probably ought to get my life together, or
No.
I probably should end up back in church? Or,
No, I felt like things were going fine.
Yeah.
Living life the way I thought that it should be, with no like the Lord trying to draw me. Like, I know that He protected me. Now that I can look back, that He definitely had a plan, but there was no inkling of ever doing what I do now.
Yeah. Well,
That's
that was
for
my
sure.
I mean, I think that's important for people to understand. It wasn't like you even had any regard for God before that.
I had none, absolutely none.
I mean, that's what I would hear.
Even knowing that Ernie and my brother Scott and Tammy and Nelson, all most of the family were going to church, but like I didn't feel left out. I just felt like I'm doing me.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Right. But for people that would see you today, they would not think that here's a guy that 2.5 years ago had no regard for God.
Yeah, absolutely none. It wasn't even like no thought at all.
Right.
Which just goes to show the power of the Holy Spirit when, especially when you come into a church that is alive and people are getting saved and baptized and I mean, I can't even explain it. I came here and I'll probably never leave.
Right.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Holy Spirit gets a hold of you that day. So kind of describe your journey, because then you're on fire, I'm back, I'm in, and then you're like, life happens.
Fire is an understatement, because Thadius had gotten married shortly after that. And me and Ernie was sitting actually with Thaddeus's mother too, and trying to figure out why I felt like I was in a frying pan, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
You mean after you had like made a decision to get back on track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a fire. I mean, it's still in my veins. You can't shake it once it gets a hold of you. You like, me and Jennifer talked a little bit about it, about even though we feel like God's not moving and you just want to step back and take a break, he doesn't allow you to do that.
Yeah.
That's
so
for
frying
sure.
pan in a way like I'm on fire, pan,
yeah,
or like I'm burning up because again, you said life happens, because you have had a lot happen since that day.
Yeah.
That's not in the world's eyes as good. I mean, that's what I would describe it as, right?
Yeah. So, like, what are you after? What are you?
No, I mean, so for somebody that's out there, you said earlier, I gave my life to Christ, and something that's hard for me to understand is, here's what I would put to it, is that you had back surgery, neck surgery, your knee's bad, you're dizzy, your job's different. Like,
I've needed a back surgery for quite a few years.
Or whatever they
and
did.
there's
Didn't
a story. There's a story
something?
behind that. I feel like it part of a healing that the Lord gave me by someone laying hands on me and praying for me. So yeah, I had a pretty major neck surgery to actually keep me from being a paraplegic.
Right.
So there's a few complications that happen because of that. So you try to deal with it, so I need a hip replacement, a knee replacement, so I try to figure out why didn't any of that happen before I came back to serve the Lord, but and I mean, some things we just may never know.
And what do you think's the reason?
I have no idea. Who knows? Like, I don't know that. I mean, my brother Ernie would argue some on this. Hard work, wear yourself out, and you need, you need surgeries or medicine or what. Like, I personally don't necessarily go that route. I believe in divine healing, and even though you may need surgeries and stuff and you're stubborn and bullheaded, you have to, like Jacob, you have to wrestle with God to find that moment when you can settle on doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not there yet. So
Right.
that's why I hobble around still.
Yeah. So describe some of the last couple years. How's God working? What's he doing? How are you seeing him?
Dude, definitely, Nick, we definitely don't have enough time for that.
Huh? Hey, all they do is just shut you off when it's past time. So don't worry about that.
Where do you
20,
want
30 minutes?
Where do you want to start? Because
Yeah,
it was a surprise to me when Jennifer came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm going to start a prayer team. Would you like to be on the prayer team?"
Okay.
And I was the first one you asked.
You were one of the first ones, yeah. I don't remember who. Well, Chris and Tasha and I started it together.
So I was the second.
Well, and
You were an afterthought. Like they needed a guy, so they're like, "What guy in the church could be?"
And trust me, it's
No.
intimidating when you walk into a prayer meeting
room
and
full of
there's
women?
5 women there, and you're like,
so Todd's on my core prayer team. Then we have a whole prayer team. So there's
You were
four,
the only
there's
man?
4. Yeah, there's 4 women. So
so
Where's all the praying men?
That definitely needs.
we have a couple on the whole team. But this
I
is
definitely
like a core
need
team.
Holy Ghost power to even deal with that because
Goodness gracious.
try praying for something after 5 women pray before you. Like, what do? You say, thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
No, you do what every man does. Ditto.
I think
Ditto.
I've done that a few times
Sometimes
too.
you've just been
I
quiet.
don't have
Ditto,
anything
like-
else to say.
That's
They
okay.
said it all for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I couldn't get a word in edgewise, whatever they
Yeah.
got. That
Yeah,
kind
just-
of thing.
Lies.
Just slap the table and be like, "Amen," and walk out.
Okay, so I asked you to join the prayer team.
So that's been a I feel like a treasure to me because I never thought that I would be, let alone asked, but be involved heavily. And it's actually helped me with what I have going on because, you know, you read the list of prayers that people want prayed for, and it's like, man, my trouble seems small. You know, even though you think personally you're going through this dramatic trauma and life-altering things that, you know, it's a blessing to be on that team for sure.
Nick, can you share any, like, without getting personal, sometimes that being on the prayer team has meant other than just, I was glad I was on it. Like, can you talk about some times of praying over people, praying for people, God
And the
speaking
answered
to
prayers that we get?
just anything. Like, I mean, just again, give people.
I mean,
a
I don't know
perspective.
that we do anything special other than get on our knees and petition and pray. And
Right, you don't think that's special?
it is special, but I was getting to where it's nothing special that
You don't have special powers. We're no different than anybody else.
No, for
I mean,
sure.
we just gather as a team and pray for these things, and God does give us a yes, and he does show that prayer does work. And it seems like in the days that we're in, you know, we're one day closer to Jesus coming back. So it seems like he answers prayers quicker than he did a year ago, you know, or 2 years ago, or even yesterday.
Right.
It just seems like things are coming about sooner than you would think they would.
Right.
And some things you have to wait on, which is a struggle.
Do you think prayer is natural for people?
No. No, I think that with my experience, just being on the prayer team, I think people struggle on how to approach God with what they want to ask for or what they believe that he should answer their prayer, you know.
Why do you think it's a struggle?
I just think it's a struggle. I think people are, and that's just my opinion. I mean, it's not Bible, which
No, for sure.
and opinions don't really matter. They're, you know.
Well, they do on here because we're trying to get your story of your view.
So
not
my opinion
theology.
is that people just don't know how to approach praying for something that they and I mean, people are going to probably get mad about it, but God doesn't always give us what we want and what we ask for.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be according to his will. And we may not even realize that it's not his will for us to pray about this, but we still do it. And then you're like, oh man, he hasn't answered this, and he hasn't answered. And I keep praying, and so I encourage to whoever's listening that if that's the case for them, that they figure it out as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've heard you say, and I brought this up before, I mean, one of the reasons you walk into this church every day and lay down on the stage is because you believe prayer works.
Yeah. And
I always wonder, like, is the reason we don't have all kinds of people praying is because they just don't think it works?
I'm sure some of the staff are thinking, why in the world does he do that every day? He could do
knows
that at
why.
home or in his car or, at work or what. That's a special thing that I do, and it works for me.
But God has spoken to you while you're out there.
Absolutely.
You get words, you get things. I mean, there's a story here within the church, someone on staff. You went up to her and you said something to her, and God answered that prayer. God said your prayer will be answered, and it was answered a couple months later.
She did what the Lord gave me to relay to her. She didn't have to do it. She could have thought, oh man, that dude's crazier than a loon. What is he doing that to me for?
You are crazy.
I'm crazy
That's okay.
in a good.
That's my
I'm crazy
point
in
is,
a good way now. Nick, what are you laughing?
He just wants us to know he's still over there.
I'm just saying, like the whole idea that part of what I think is we have to let go of is what we think a Christian should look like and act like and be like. And so just because you're I
truly am one of those crazy people. I believe this, every word in it. And if you find that niche that works for you and you explore all the avenues that you can explore to make it work biblically and sound doctrine, and there's a few things that I do that I probably will never share that work for me to make it work, to be able to, if the Lord speaks to you about something, to take that step of faith and do it, whether you think you're crazy, whether you think it was you in your head, whatever, however you think about it. If you do it and it happens, then the Lord gives you more and more. When you give it away, it's like praying, how do we pray for our cup to be overflowing if we don't give it away?
Why did you say, I'm interested, and you don't have to share this, why would you say you wouldn't tell anybody about certain things that you do?
There's certain ways that I pray that I think are effective, and it works for me.
And so why wouldn't you share them?
It's personal.
Oh,
Would you share what you do in your prayer closet?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
Nick?
I mean, if I truly thought it was going to help somebody.
I'm not talking about helping somebody.
No,
I'm just talking about getting what God gives you.
But if it gave somebody a new tool to say, I never thought about praying like that, or I never thought about doing, somebody might open up their prayer life.
I'm not asking you to share. So I'm just saying,
as long as you're not outside naked running around or something, and then I think you're
part
okay.
Of it?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just what else would you not want to share?
When you said it, I looked over there and Todd's going, maybe that was a new way. I thought.
I mean, if that's the way you do it, that's not the way.
So everybody knows what Jennifer does.
No,
she doesn't have a prayer closet.
Do not. Oh, Lord. Gosh.
No, you don't have to share.
No,
Todd. Again, here's all I'm trying.
No, I figured out a way that works for me, and it may not work for you. That's the way I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the only reason I'm saying is because there are a lot of people that
I'll be honest, I'll share a little bit. I pray the Lord's Prayer, but I break it down into the P's, you know, praise, provision,
petition and petition, and I don't know what they all are.
I got it wrote down.
Yeah.
I actually thought this would go a different way, and I was going to share something that the Lord spoke to me about, but it hasn't got quite.
Say we don't need.
We'll just move along, and if it goes,
I'm just going to sit here in silence until you talk about it.
This
Play
is
the
what
silent game.
Really, that's the way it's going to be. All right. Am I allowed to get up and do my thing, or what? Like, is there any restrictions?
Nick's the producer. You can ask him.
Nick, can you follow like up and down?
You can't follow up and down. Those things don't move. Like, are you going to jump up and down?
Chant or something?
Well,
What
I
are you
might.
doing?
No, I'm not going to chant.
I'm like,
That's,
what are
You can chant.
No,
No,
I'm
I mean,
Stand in front of your chair.
okay, there you go.
me and Jennifer had a conversation last week, maybe.
Yeah.
About how I was feeling,
Yeah.
and what the conversation was that I was going to step back from the prayer team and step back from work release and just work on me. And the Lord doesn't let you do that when you're dialed in. Like, he won't let go. So
stand
you
up.
can read. You got your glasses?
No, but I can do my best. You got big font in there.
So the Lord give me a Psalms. What number is that? I got tears in my eyes. I can't see nothing.
What
do you
number
got
are we
in your
looking
eyes?
for?
Sorry, Nick.
Why are you apologizing to
You're in
Nick?
the
This is what
hundreds.
Nick loves.
139.
Psalms 139, yeah.
I gotta read all of that?
Start in verse.
Are you going to stand up while she does it? Is that the point?
Well, so I was thinking about stepping back, and the Lord was like, he done a few things to let me know, like, no, you're not stepping back.
Okay.
So I was in prayer, and he revealed to me that he won't let me go because he has things for me to do. And like, I'm involved in the work release and the Celebrate Recovery classes up there. We do a Bible study on Saturday, me and Don Schoen. And now I'm being a glorified babysitter for Place of Grace at the men's home that we just opened up. And so I just feel like the Lord give me that, and I wrote some stuff down in there on, like, me personally, I don't know how the Lord's going to fix it, but he can fix it. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he does it. I don't know how he and this is just for me personally in my life, and like, I don't know how he's going to do anything, but he's going to do it. So if we trust in him fully, and if we abide in him and his word abides in us, then we can ask anything and he'll answer. So that's kind of a thing that I do, and it works for me, like a little secret thing between me and the Lord. And it's powerful to me, because once I learned that, once I put it into practice, then the Lord answers prayers. And it's not always no, or not always wait. It's like, yeah, I can do that. And it happens.
Right.
So that being said, start with verse 5. You need my glasses?
4, 5. No, I think I'm there. Okay, so how far am I going?
I got it highlighted. Just read verse 5 and I'll tell you when to stop. How's that?
Oh, here we go. Yes.
Can't even see.
Here, give me his glasses. I'll read it. If you can't see.
No, I mean.
They're bifocal, so
Oh, there's no way
they're
I can see through
bifocal, so use the bottom part.
I could never do that.
Maybe it's better without. You hem me in behind and before.
There you go. Stop right there for a minute. That's the first one, right? That's number 5?
Not all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, read the...
And
don't-
you lay your hand upon me.
Hem
read
me
that-
in and
read
lay
that
your hand.
again a little louder.
You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me.
So me personally, I feel like the Lord, like when... Phew.
It's like we're going to church right now.
Yeah, so when I feel like stopping, when I feel like giving up, he hems me in. He won't let go. So, read verse 4.
Well, you have here in your own writing, it says, I lost God, but he didn't lose me. There are times that we go through that, that you feel like you're like distant, but he's always a turn. He's right there.
I forgot about that. I lost God, but he didn't lose me.
Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Such knowledge. That's all one word.
I was going to say, Jennifer,
I didn't know I was going to read.
No ledge. That no
I was
ledge.
thinking the same thing, like, what? That ain't right.
That ledge that we all know about, but we get to,
Yeah.
we don't know what to do with. I just didn't want to say anything.
We could go another route there too when we get to that ledge and the
There's
Lord.
highlighter and there's red pen over it. I'm doing my best.
I've been through
I'm
it. I've
kidding.
been through it a
I
couple
know you
times.
Okay, I'll read that again for all of us. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain.
Yeah, we don't know what he has in store for us. We don't know that he won't answer our prayers right away. We don't know that he's not moving our behalf just because we can't see it.
Yeah.
But he's moving.
Right. Yeah.
And he's doing, and he's working things out. He's fixing things, but we might not see it right away. But he's doing it, and I mean, his word's true.
Right.
So why wouldn't he?
Yeah, it goes on. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence?
Yeah,
if I go up to the heavens, you are there.
Stop.
If I make my bed in the
Stop.
depths,
She
you
ain't
are there.
stopping.
I can read.
She is on a roll. She is on a roll.
So where can we go to hide from God? We can't. Even if we're in heaven, he's going to find us. Even, I think I wrote something down there about hell. Even if we're in the place called Shalom or Shiloh. Sheol.
Yep, she'll.
Yeah, whatever that word is. I'm not a Hebrew or Greek
I'm
scholar,
not either.
but you knew it.
Yeah.
But even though we feel like we're in hell or whatever, he's still there. He still finds us in our lowest, in our highest.
So, what brought you to this book and chapter in the Bible?
The Lord spoke to me.
He said, "Go to Psalms 139."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found it fitting just because I knew we were going to be doing the podcast and what we talked about earlier a week ago or whatever.
Yep.
Good, bad, ugly.
No, I'm
no,
just
it's
saying,
great.
because again, anybody that listens, this is the big disconnect. I still say this is the huge disconnect for people. I've never heard God tell me to go anywhere. Never heard
Really?
somebody. Oh,
No, not him. He's just saying people in general.
Oh.
Will
yeah,
say that.
no, I hear. No. But I would, when you agree, Jennifer, there's tons of people that just been like, I've never once been sitting there and had God tell me to go to Psalms 139. I've never had God tell me to do anything. So I think that, again, we've said this, and you're a representation of this, and you said it earlier, that when we obey, the talking doesn't start. It just gets loud enough for you to hear. Talking never stops.
Yeah, so that's what I find fascinating now. Like back in the day, I never heard God speak to me like he does now. Prophetic word for somebody, stop that person, or he sends somebody across my path. I mean, there's a plethora of things that he's working out for my good now, and I love it. It's like he hemmed me in.
One, I think I shared this. I think I shared this last night in our starting point class. Is that the other part about hearing from God?
What a class!
Huh? Isn't that the class we did last night?
Starting point. Growth rate
I
class.
said, what a class!
Oh, what a class! Yes.
So, like, hearing from God. So here I am at a point in my life where I was going to give up in ministry. Like, that's where I was when I went to Guatemala. I was like, this isn't working. I'd been to Guatemala multiple different times, and I'm like, God, you're gonna have to either confirm or speak. And I didn't hear nothing. Like, I'm on the trip the whole week. You're seeing amazing things happen. Last night of the worship service, you're getting ready to go home. Somebody that I don't know is in the back of the crowd from New York, walks to the front, taps me on the shoulder, and says, when are you going to answer the call of God? It's so loud that I can hear it from the back. So the point being is that even in times...
So, not to interrupt, but
No,
how
go ahead.
did you take that? How did that come across to you, since you're not hearing, and then somebody walks up and says that? How?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like how my whole life has been. Like, my whole life has been an
Did you take it to
experiment.
heart, or did you have to think about it, or
Oh,
did
no,
you?
I mean, no, I took it to heart. Like,
Listen
again,
to me asking questions now
No,
to
I'm
the
just saying.
pastor.
There's just a confirmation. Like,
Right.
But again, not all of that came to me in the beginning. That's all I'm trying to say. It's like in the beginning, not all of that made sense. The first year I gave my life to Christ, or even the second year I gave my life to Christ.
That's absolutely
Through
how
the
I felt.
struggle and through different things, you hear God speak in different ways and understand faith in different ways. And again, just the value, because it started a domino. Her walking from the back of that worship service to the front to a person she didn't know, having the courage to do that, started a domino effect of where I am today.
So you know for a fact she was hearing from God, and
That's my point.
Because if she
obeying
wouldn't have, you
and-
would have just went home, and
I was done.
unless God would have done something else to get your
I was
attention, you would have been done.
Done.
Wow.
And we wouldn't be here today, Todd.
No, I'm just saying
that-
that for all of us, I think it's really
Right.
important to understand. Have the courage when God speaks to
Yeah.
you to speak to other people, because
there's-
it's not always. This is the thing that I think we need to remember, because, like, so Ethan gets half freaked out because Todd tells him things all the time. 'Cause Ethan has
Todd.
never had that.
He's not
right?
supposed to tell on me. No,
He's
Sounds
not
good.
telling on you.
I'm just kidding.
He's
I don't-
experiencing.
he's a kid.
He's experiencing something he's never experienced in his life before. Someone noticing him on something other than all of the secular things that happen in his life, right? So,
I didn't know that.
But
Like,
my point is you're being used, being obedient. Some people are going to look at that and be like, what the world is the matter with that guy? Why is he going up to that kid? But you do it. You went up to my wife and said, hey, I had a dream. She has never heard somebody come up to her and say, I had a dream. This is what I see.
the sunflower thing,
Yeah.
giving the seeds away.
Right. Here's all I'm trying to say. You don't have to explain it. My point just is you have no idea the domino effect of what your words spoken to you to give to somebody else. We need to give away what the Lord has given us, whether that's a word, whether that's a dream, whether that's a... Go ahead.
I'm compelled to say I cannot help doing that, because I love when my cup is full and overflowing. That's what makes me who I am now. And without that,
But are there times where you're hesitant that you don't want to do it because you're not sure what the outcome is going to be? Like,
so sometimes I get stuff like that and I hold on to it, and I don't know why. Sometimes I give it away, but sometimes there's a hesitancy there that I believe is from the Lord, because He'll add to it. You know, and it may take a day, 2 days, but usually it's not more than a couple of days. So, and I'm not a big writer, but I try to write it down, you know, when it happens, or at the end of whenever I get home, because a lot of times I'm busy. I hardly shut down, but So those things are special to me. But if I hold on to that, then I don't get anything from the Lord until I give it away, and then I get something else. So if I give that away, then He'll give me something else, and sometimes a few things, but never any. I mean, He doesn't give us anything more than we can handle. So I try to handle my business.
The premise is always the same. He gives what you will give away. So a lot of times when people are like, I can't figure out why God's not using me, or God's not speaking to me, or God's not doing this, because you're just not giving it away.
Yeah,
so why speak to you?
And then like sometimes we get in our head and it's like, man, do I really want to share that with them? Because I don't think they'll take it very well. Or maybe now's not the right time, Lord. Like, can I just hold on to it for another week? And sometimes it's okay. And then sometimes I hear like, no, do it now. This is what they need. So I do it. Like,
but I'm saying even more than God has given you a message to give to somebody, I'm saying God has given you a gift to give to somebody. God has given you an ability to give to somebody. I think it's all the premise of who we're supposed to be.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure that out still. Like, why me? Why, like, because I'm really a nobody. But I'll do it. If that's what He wants, I'm going to do it. So.
But I don't think
I'm still learning.
Yeah, no, my point always is, I don't think that's like, people view it as abnormal. I think the normal is God speaks, and when we obey, things work. Period. I mean, I just don't think that there is, I think it's very abnormal to be, I never hear from God. I never really know what I'm supposed to do. I kind of just go through the motions. I just get up every day. And like, I don't think that's normal. Like, I don't think that's the way God works.
No. And then, I mean, you could go to the fact of, are they really saved? Are they like, I mean, I find it odd that the Lord wouldn't do that for anybody. If He can do it with me and for me, why not them? Like, I see them better than me. So what, like, why me? I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear that God wants to use all of us.
Yeah.
And there is there is no, I mean, this is the reality. You and I are no different. And Jennifer and I are no different. Like, we're all on the same team, at the same level, doing the same things. How God manifests His Spirit or speaks to us is completely dictated on our ability to obey what He has to tell us. And I think that's the problem is surrender. Like, when you're not fully surrendered, it's hard to hear.
That's, I think, another little secret, or whatever you want to call it. Like, you have to be surrendered. You have to surrender and surrender and surrender some more.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, nothing's really going to happen.
Well, I do think that God's going to work on your surrender. Something is going to happen. Like, God's going to intervene at some point. But you're right. It's better to surrender first.
Yeah.
Before He brings you to a place of surrender.
Yeah. Like,
so better to volunteer.
Just do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And you'll be a lot better off.
Yeah.
A lot sooner.
Yeah. Jennifer, parting question.
It's over already?
Well, it's an hour.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's about enough.
At least for this one.
Yeah, well, we can do a part 3. So
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I have any more questions. Okay. I just appreciate
what?
you talking.
You don't have questions?
I don't. I did not come prepared for this.
Bring it. I know you got one question.
I don't. I honestly don't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no. I just thank you for who you are. That you allow God to use you.
I appreciate it.
I think some people thought I was crazy when I asked you to join the prayer team, but
I
saw something
people.
within you. I'm not saying he was. I really don't know who it was, but I think people were just kind of like, really? And I'm like, yes, I believe that Todd really is a prayer warrior. I've seen him, and you have just, blew me out of the water. The things that you pray for, the things that you do, just the way you do seek the Lord. And I hope other people are listening to this and they want to do the same thing, that they want to be on their knees and they want to petition the Lord to use
That's
them,
right.
because it is, Mike and I were just talking about this today, about the message on Sunday, and it's like, gosh, people are missing out. Yeah. Thank you. Are missing out on so many blessings and just the reward of being with God and having him use you. It's like, wow. It's just the things that
I appreciate
he does,
that.
so.
Only a true friend would say that.
Yeah, it's been a joy to really get to know you, our conversations, and it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy my, don't even
Tears at the end.
job.
There's nothing better than that.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, there is
I made
nothing
it.
more to
Oh.
say. So if you're watching,
Nick, you got questions?
Ditto.
so if you're listening, make sure that you do watch at some point. We say that all the time. So for people that are going down the road, and we know how it works, very few people are going to get in and watch for an hour, but you should go on. You should, take an opportunity to see what's going on the set, get an opportunity to see who Todd is. If you don't know, I would say the majority of people who come to Life Church know the Littles, from the standpoint of whistling, being involved, like being in the front. Todd's usually in the front row somewhere if he's not at work release, and around and available. And so make sure you come up and say hi. Make sure you come up and encourage. Make sure that when this does come out, that you like, share, or comment, because we want this to be able to get on multiple different people's feeds so that we can have multiple people know your story and learn and hear and listen and be able to do those things. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.